Hello, this is Gibbs FN. Until recently, I thought that social media was a complete waste of time, until I got hooked on Twitter and have begun to learn that it is actually a very useful business tool. Andre Hugo is with Deloitte, and he is the head of marketing. To your mind, what is social media?
Social media to me is around engaging with your community or your customer base and getting an ROI, or return on investment, out of it. Growing your business as a result of engagement.
So the term social media is actually rubbish, isn't it?
You know, there's various definitions out there. I mean, if you look at, I guess, the evolution of it, you get Web 1, which is brochureware that is published on a website. Web 2, which is starting to where the communities contribute to the web content and engagement. Web 3, where you actually bring in augmented reality. And social media is just one of those channels in there that allows your customer to engage and, in some instances, dictate what happens to your brand as a result of their engagement.
But is social media the right sort of descriptor for it? I imagine this thing started out with groups of mates saying, I'm having this for breakfast, I dated Johnny last night, whatever it might be. And it's evolved quite rapidly into something quite useful.
I agree. I think if you look at the social media, what I call the abuse curve, whenever you release a social media tool within an organization, people start abusing it. They send a poke on Facebook, they invite you to a war game, they tell you that they're having pizza. But as soon as they get over that, you can actually start getting real business benefit. Internally within Deloitte, we've actually used a product called Yammer, which sits inside your firewalls, and it allows people to connect in terms of what are they working on. So it cuts out the email traffic, it allows you to engage with your client, find out, or your community, and say, well, I need an expert in risk advisory who has these skills, and they come back to you instantaneously based on the community feedback.
When one looks at the applications, and give me some practical examples of how something like Deloitte. I mean, I was talking to Whitey Basson, the chief executive of ShopRite, fairly recently, and I said to him, are you on Twitter? And he went, what are you suggesting I'm not? I've got somebody at the office who plays on that thing all the time, said Whitey Basson. It's the chief executive view of something that may be useful one day, but it's a bit of a waste of time in his view, maybe. But from a Deloitte perspective, we're actually taking it quite seriously.
At Deloitte we do. We actually were the first of the professional services firms to run a Twitter account in South Africa. As a result of that, our web presence, or the hits on our website, increased by, I think, 200% in 1 month. And it was just purely by pushing thought leadership through Twitter, linking it to the web content, people then reading the web content, and as a result of that, real business leads were generated from that. I also had a recent chat at an executive committee for a group of global retailers, and the opening comment from the CEO was, I don't know what the social media junk is, please try and educate us, but it's something my kids play on. At the end of the presentation, he actually said, we need to be in there. The examples I gave him, I said, well, you are already on there, but you're not responding.
Yes, and you're not aware of the fact that your reputation is being traded on the open market.
I mean, we went to, during the presentation, I jumped onto Glassdoor, Hello Peter, Mimi Burns, showed him examples of actually where his brand was getting trashed.
I've heard of Hello Peter, Glassdoor, and Mimi Peter. What Mimi Burns?
Mimi Burns is it's a blog site which basically publishes thoughtware and also comments on organizations. Glassdoor is actually an organization that you go on, you publish your salary information.
Okay.
So there's no need for salary surveys in my mind. You can actually go in there and have a survey to say, well, at organization X, what is the director earning? Compare that to that global organization, and you've got that information available.
But it is opening the world of information. It is opening the ability to deliver that information. Now, it's how you utilize that space in the delivery of the information to get the return on investment. Because if you're putting junk out there, you're not going to get anything of value out.
Correct. Well, what we've landed up doing is, at the end of the day, social media, your Web 2 presence is actually just data at the end of the day. We take data from internal financial systems, we take it out of the metaverse of social media, you combine it with smart analytics, and you can get a different perspective of what is happening with your customer. So a classic example is for an airline, we extracted 400 data elements from their ERP system around their client. We pulled another 476 out of the social media and the web space, combined that set of data, put them through a self-organizing map. It spat out a result, and we actually went to the organization who was very skeptical of this approach and said, this data segment over here responds purely on frequent flyer points. If you change your marketing model to them and you give them 2 frequent flyer points for every time they fly over the next month, you'll convert them from leaving your loyalty program to members for life. So they said, okay, well, what have we got to lose? At the end of the day, they dropped 10 million US to their bottom line, and they converted 25,000 of the sample of 49 to Members for Life.